Hello guys, Tops here. Today, how does adrenaline work in Battle Plus? So adrenaline is a skill that costs 1 action point, 25 fatigue to be used, and it puts you in the first turn order for the next round. Alright, so how does that work? And I look into Turtle's Guide, highly recommended. Costs 1 action point, 20 fatigue, and mechanically it adds 2000 initiative for your next turn. And if you fight versus barbarians who also have adrenaline, and you're kind of both using adrenaline at the same time, the higher initiative guy goes first. So, in general, the guy with higher initiative goes first. So, adrenaline is a tier 1 perk, and going first is really, really nice because you can hit your opponent before he can hit you. So that makes adrenaline really nice on bros that are slow, i.g. bros with not a lot of initiative or heavy armor and weapons. Because heavy armor and weapons have a fatigue penalty, and basically if like your armor has minus 20 fatigue or something, it also reduces your initiative by 20. So for every fatigue of your equipment, you lose 1 initiative. And adrenaline makes it so has nice synergy with Pathfinder. If you have Pathfinder, you can go 4 tiles for 8 action points and then adrenaline for 1 action point. And then you can go first next round. That makes adrenaline pretty nice if you charge uphill versus fast opponents like goblins. Makes it, or any other opponents that are on this hill, makes it really nice if you want to retreat when you fight stuff like orcs and you want to act the next turn, right? So basically, you just retreat, and then orcs are close, and next turn you can just press adrenaline and charge the orcs, or stuff like this, right? And it also makes the fights like more aggressive, more bursty, right? You just go first. The thing is, you can achieve the same effect if you max out initiative. So if you have like 140 initiative with Relentless, something like that, you basically always go first, right? So you have permanent adrenaline. The biggest downside of adrenaline is it costs an action point and it costs high fatigue to use, which is a downside. So it only works if you have a lot of fatigue to use. Upside is you go first. So you smash your opponent, and like if you kill your opponents fast, you might not need to use the fatigue, right, later in the turn. So if you enter fight fast, adrenaline is the way to go. In the early game, adrenaline can be really nice. So you can outfast brigands, right? So you can just walk up to a brigand and adrenaline, and you go first next turn and smash the brigand or stuff like that. The problem is adrenaline. In order to use this perk, you need to have a bro who can hit stuff, right? So it competes with stuff like fast adaptation, right? So you need a high melee skill guy in order to hit stuff reliably. So adrenaline is kind of relatively nice early game, but probably stronger late game with like Forge Bros, something like that. Although like going first is also nice on nimble guys, but if you have light gear, I would maybe try out to level a lot of initiative, so you go first anyway without using the adrenaline skill. Taking stuff like Relentless to make sure that you go even further and faster is like the way to go if you want to, with high initiative nimble bros. Yeah, adrenaline. I think it's kind of like one of these perks. If you have like one flex perk, and most builds have one flex perk, you might want to take adrenaline just in case, because you don't have to use it every turn or every fight. But it's nice to have in some fights, right? Where it's like, hey, I have the option to just walk 4 tiles, adrenaline, and go first next round smash. And if I have it on a lot of bros, I just can walk my whole company forwards, adrenaline, and smash them the next turn, and that might already end the fight. Because I killed like half of my opponents, the rest are now fleeing or breaking, stuff like that. So it's nice, and I would say it's better the more bros have it, and it's also better on generally slower bros per default. Okay, let's look at Turtle's Guide for Adrenaline. Again, yeah, we see interesting. Having these perks make it more likely to be targeted by 10% by the AI. So the AI will target you more likely. Yeah, strong opening turns from Adrenaline. That's what I said. You just walk 4 tiles, Adrenaline, and smash first. Better on slower bros, of course. Yeah, Blazing Desert, before like the last patch, Adrenaline used to cost 0 action points. That's no longer the case. Yeah, in the early game, like your bros are fragile. That's true. So going first and just smashing the Brigand before the Brigand smashes you, benefit. Arena battles are small and short. It's kind of true, right? So if you fight like versus high initiative like gladiators or something, you can just adrenaline, smash them. And yeah, heavy armor is slow, big two-handers are slow. Yeah, say super tanks, 2-turn indom plus shield wall, stuff like that. So there are a lot of combos that you can do, spear walls, anti-barbarian, adrenaline, the adrenaline users. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like having a lot of initiative and then use adrenaline to smash the barbarians. It's kind of nice. Versus goblins, because goblins have super high initiative. So like I think they have like 130, 140 base initiative, and then they have gear. So a lot of the times you need like 130 initiative to be faster than goblins. But if you have adrenaline, you can have 20 initiative, press adrenaline, and be faster than goblins and smash them. Good versus Hexen, because you can like walk up to a hex, and there's actually a build that I still need to try where you basically take like an adrenaline taunt tank and you just walk 4 tiles to the hex, adrenaline, and then taunt the hex so the hex doesn't charm or curse another brother. That's that. Nice versus nomads and all kind of stuff, anti-kraken, all kinds of good uses. And like adrenaline is one of these perks I think you have to play a lot around with. It has a lot of uses, but like the fact that it costs 1 action point and the fact that it costs a lot of fatigue makes it prohibitive to use. You need a lot of fatigue to use it. You might need recover in order to use adrenaline frequently, or you have to have something like iron lungs where you recover additional fatigue. Yeah, but in general, I think it's a fine perk that you can play around. I can show you something really fast in-game that I have. It's a build that I kind of like, and it achieves the same thing as adrenaline in most cases without having the perk adrenaline. I have made a specific video about that already. The Battleforge dodge guy. This guy. So basically, if you have a brother, which you normally would make into a fencer, so like high initiative, good defense and attack, you can max Relentless, give him full Battleforge armor, take Relentless and Brawny, and now this guy has a fatigue neutral that goes first every round because of his high initiatives. And in this case, he low rolled on his initiative and he doesn't have famed armor. So normally I would have, it's easy to get an Oath Taker to like 150 base initiative and 130 plus initiative after weapons and gear, right? So if you find an Oath Taker with like high initiative, high attack and defense, you can make him into this build. And against most opponents, especially if you use the Hyena Clock for plus 15 initiative, with Relentless, you can just march him forward and he will go first, or you can march him backwards and he will go first, because he's fast, high initiative. And this high initiative build is, this specific one even works with Battleforge. So even my slow guy is really fast. Downside, I need 2 perks, Brawny and Relentless. Brawny reduces the initiative and fatigue that we have from heavy armor by 30%. And yeah, kinda needs Pathfinder and stuff. But now I have Adrenaline without having the perks, basically. Not always, but basically. Of course, this does not work versus adrenaline users. So stuff like barbarians or like the southern guys, how are they called? Like the assassins and stuff, they have adrenaline too. So it doesn't work versus other adrenaline users, of course, because they get plus 2000 initiative for the next turn. But against anything else that doesn't have adrenaline, this kind of works. So that's kind of interesting. I could see it if you have enough fatigue on something maybe like a cleaver, where you have maybe an additional perk for like adrenaline and you frequently use recover. Might work well on duelists as well. So you can kind of walk 4 tiles, use adrenaline, hit like twice, and then the next turn you maybe hit another time, berserk and recover then. All that kind of stuff. Again, the high fatigue cost of adrenaline makes it prohibitive to use, but it is super strong. If you just hit your opponents, killing your opponents before they kill you is a lot of the time a good way to go, right? And that's why a lot of players like high initiative backgrounds and high initiative bros, like this sword duelist, for instance, who's super dodgy. And you can make that work with Battleforge even. Alright guys, this is it for today's video. Write me down in the comments how you use adrenaline. I would like to hear that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.